Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Freewell Standard Day 4-pack ND filter, which includes an ND8, an ND16, a 32, and a polarizer filter. Now, full disclosure, Freewell reached out to me and asked me if I was interested in reviewing these. I agreed. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not being paid. I am just simply agreeing to review these filters for the GoPro Hero9 Black. And I'm gonna share my honest thoughts and opinions with you guys as always. So let's go ahead and jump into this. All right, this is what the packaging looks like. So when you order these, there's your box. I've already unboxed this stuff. It brings a nice little envelope. And inside that envelope, you will find a lifetime warranty card with all the details for that. And then you have an installation instruction card, something you don't get with other brands like the Polar Pro, which I recently reviewed. And you also get a video tutorials card, which is also very nice. You just scan that there and you can watch some tutorials on it. And you can also learn the basics. It explains to you what kind of videos you're gonna see there. It brings a wiping cloth. The actual ND filters come in this plastic case, which is nice to have. Keep your filters protected, and all four are in here. So you're gonna get a polarizing filter, as you can see right here. Each filter is labeled on the side there. And this one says PL for polarized. On the other side, you will see the Freewell branding. So in addition to that polarizer, you're gonna get an ND8, an ND16, and an ND32. And I forgot to mention, they also throw a pair of stickers in there as well. So you also get a filter guide. This is very helpful for people that don't know how to use these filters. You got all the information here and explains to you what each filter does. For example, an ND8, that's a 3 f-stop filter, reduces light by 3 f-stops. And so these are for other type of filters that they sell, but you have all the information here in the filter guide. So because I've reviewed a couple of the ND filters for the Hero9, the Freewell, like the Polar Pro, brings a plastic case, and the Telesins come in this cardboard box like that. So inside, I wanted to point out that the quality of these filters, very nice finish. They are very lightweight. I threw these on my scale, and each one of these weighs 6 grams. So they're very lightweight. They're lighter than the Telesin ones that came in at around 7 grams, I believe. But these are very easy to install. They are the screw-on type, and I'm gonna show you guys how these go on the GoPro. You're gonna take off the GoPro one, and that's very easy. You just twist this off and it comes right off. You're then gonna grab your ND filter, and the ND filter is just like the GoPro one, has those metal bars that function as a grip. You're going to, oops, I'm actually recording there. You're gonna turn the filter to the sides where there's no labeling. So make sure these are on the side. You're going to push the filter onto the camera, and then you're gonna twist. And then when it's on, you're gonna have the Freewell sign there or the ND filter on the sides. That way you know it's on the correct way. So it's very easy to install. You can see the Freewell that's on the side. That's real quick, easy to put on. I could not put these filters on my GoPro, the Polar Pros I should say, were extremely hard to get on. These are so easy to get on, so that is a major plus in my book. I actually returned the Polar Pro filters because of that. And I'm happy to report also that these filters also work with the media mod on the GoPro Hero 9. And you could actually take these off while having the media mod on. So I couldn't do that with the Polar Pro filters, but you are able to install and change your filters out with the media mod on with no issue. Just like that. And here we have the ND1000. Freewell was nice enough to send me this one as well. This one does not come with the 4-pack. This is sold separately, and this is an ND1000. It brings the same type of case as the 4-pack. And as you can see here, we have the filter, ND1000 right here. This reduces light by 10 stops. This is really good for long exposure photography, or if you want to get like that motion blur in your shots. This is the filter for that. So I'm very pleased with the build quality of these. They look really good on the camera. They match the camera, which I can't say the same about the Polar Pro ones. And one of the things I dislike about it is that it makes it kind of stick out. And I know that's all personal preference, but I'm just not a fan of the bronze or that gold frame on the Polar Pro ones. But yeah, they're very secure on here. So if you're like a motor vlogger or want to mount these on your bike, I don't think you have anything to worry about. I had these on my bike the other day, no issue, never felt like they were coming off at all. And the actual glass is scratch resistant. They state that these are oil proof, but in my experience using these, I did get a couple of fingerprints there from the oil on my hands. Not a deal breaker or anything, but I did want to point that out. They have color neutral coating, so we will see the footage and see if we have any color casting in our footage. And so let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and take some, show you guys some shots that I took out and about. I took some photos with this as well, and let's go ahead and take a look at that. This first shot is the ND8, and I have the color profile set to flat, 1/48 of a second. I then added a LUT just to give you guys an idea of how you can play around with these files and tweak the colors a little bit, but it's still a little overexposed here. Just the lighting condition is just too bright for this filter. Next up, I have the ND8 still on, GoPro colors now, 1/48 of a second. As you can see, it's still a little bit overexposed. The filter is simply not strong enough. So now we're shooting in partly cloudy conditions. I kept the ND8 on, GoPro colors, auto shutter speed, but when I freeze the frame here, you'll notice the lack of motion blur in the palm fronds. The next shot, I have the shutter speed to 1/48 of a second, and when I freeze the frame, you'll notice a little bit of a motion blur in those palm fronds. So it's doing a good job there. Now in this shot, I have no filter on, GoPro colors. You'll notice the reflection in the water, kind of a blue tone to the image here, auto shutter speed, auto white balance. I then added the polarizer filter. It does a great job eliminating the reflection in the water. It looks good here. I changed the white balance to 5500 and the shutter speed is still on auto. I then switched over to the ND32. I have 1/48 of a second. White balance is still at 5500. When I freeze the frame here, you'll notice some nice motion blur in my hand. So it's doing a good job there, but honestly, it's a little too bright for my liking. I need a stronger filter in this lighting condition. In this shot, I switched the shutter speed to auto. And you can see there, I freeze my hand and there's no motion blur. The only difference in this side-by-side shot is the color temperature, or the white balance. On the left, it's at 5500 and it's a lot warmer than on the right, which is on auto, and it's a whole lot cooler. You will also notice less reflection in the water on the left, but more contrast on the shot on the right, and that's due to the auto shutter speed. The next shot, I have the ND16 at 1/48 of a shutter. The lighting condition here is partly cloudy, the water looks good, and the sky and the contrast back there looks good. Next up, I'm gonna do a HyperSmooth test. We all know that the HyperSmooth doesn't work well with ND filters on. First shot here, I don't have any filters on the camera. The shutter's set to auto, and you can see everything's working as it should. Next up, I have the ND16 on at 1/48 of a second, but you'll notice that the HyperSmooth doesn't work too well there. I decided to throw in one more test shot with about the HyperSmooth issue here. And I want to send a special thanks to Colin, who commented on my community tab post. You're the only person that commented. I really appreciate that. And gave me an idea of throwing in a clip here of having the ND filter on the GoPro Hero 9 without the HyperSmooth on, just to see what it's like and to see if it's even worth getting, and maybe throwing your GoPro on a gimbal without the HyperSmooth on and see if how it works. So I'm gonna take a quick test shot here of myself, as I usually do in my backyard, just walking with it. Right now the HyperSmooth is off, so here we go. And I do have the ND32 on. I'm gonna give you guys another quick test shot here. All right, just gonna take a quick test shot with the GoPro Hero 9 on my Ronin SE. This is clearly overkill. I just wanna take a quick shot to see how it performs with the ND32 on. If you are in the market for maybe getting a gimbal for your GoPro, look elsewhere. This is just overkill. There's plenty of options that are a lot cheaper on the market, but yeah, let's take a couple of shots. Looking at this shot with the GoPro on the gimbal, it works great in my opinion. The colors look good. The 180-degree rule is working good. Look at the motion here. Everything looks pretty good to me. So if you're considering getting the filters and a gimbal and turning off the HyperSmooth, I think it works well and it is worth it. So what did you guys think of the footage? I thought the footage looked really good. These filters serve their purpose well. They reduce the light. The polarizer works fantastic. I thought it reduced the light or the glare in the water really good, and it adds that nice contrast to your image. The ND1000 is a good filter to have in your kit for those long exposure shots. I'm really pleased with the overall quality of these filters, and I thought the image quality wasn't affected in a bad way. I did notice, however, in some of the photos I took, a little bit of grain in them. Nothing major and nothing that you can't fix in post, but I did want to point that out. I also like that they're lightweight, that they match the camera, and even though I don't prefer the screw-on type, these are extremely easy to install and remove, and they do give you a peace of mind because they go on there really secure. So again, these are the standard day 4-pack ND filters, which are $69.99. I'll link them down below for you guys to check them out. If you know that you're going to be shooting in brighter conditions, then I recommend you check their bright day kit, which has an ND64. And to be honest with you, I may end up getting that kit because I do shoot in extremely bright conditions here in Florida. If you have any questions, drop me a comment down below and I will get back to you there. Make sure you check out my other filter kit or filter videos and GoPro videos. I'll link them here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video if you will. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Be safe.